Hello and welcome back to Raven Rundown. I am your host, Cam Gonzalez, alongside my co-host, Nayro Mojica. We are excited to bring back to you the latest from Franklin Pierce sports, as well as professional and collegiate sports from across the country.
That's right, Cam. This week's a big one for the Ravens sports, especially for men's and women's basketball. The men's took down Bentley University in a closely contested game. Sophomore center Mike McDivitt's 18 points, combined with junior guards Matt Branton's 16, helped the Franklin Pierce University men's basketball team in a huge win over Bentley University, who is also the leader in the Northeast 10 Conference, I should say. On Saturday afternoon, the Ravens were able to get an early lead and help post a 92-82 win over the Falcons.
Great win for the men's team, Nairo, and for the Franklin Pierce women's basketball team as well, as they were able to put 3 starters and 5 players overall in double digits on Saturday as the Ravens took an early lead against Bentley and were able to hold off the Falcons for a Northeast 10 win, 87-76 from the Fieldhouse.
Cam, that's awesome. It's great to see both teams playing well basketball, representing our school in a winning way. That's awesome. Now let's switch over to ice hockey. Senior forward Carson Baker scored the only goal in Franklin Pierce University's women ice hockey's team win, which would lead in 12:08 in the first period on Saturday night at home in Jason Ritchie Arena. She would later add another goal as well, leading the way in Franklin Pierce's 4-0 win over Manhattanville in New England Hockey Conference play.
Well, Nairo, this week was definitely a success for Raven Athletics. And before we move on to the professional world of sports, I must recognize a select few of players who made their names known because of their individual athletic performances. These players include senior Kara Charette of the Franklin Pierce University women's basketball team, and she's been named the Northeast 10 Conference Player of the Week, as announced on Monday by the league office. Charette piled up 26.5 points per game last week in a 2-0 week for the Ravens, shooting 63.9% from the floor while doing so. And along the way, she was also able to average 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal per game as well. At St. Michael's, on Tuesday night, she poured in a season-best 28 points. Incredible stuff. Charette followed up on Saturday with 25 points on 11 for 16 from the floor to go with 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal with 1 block and a win over Bentley.
Cam, Kara was the only outstanding player for Franklin Pierce. In addition to her achievement, sophomore Tom McGuckin of the men's ice hockey team has been named the Northeast 10 co-goaltender of the week, and 4 other Ravens have landed on the weekly honor roll in their respective sport. As for McGuckin, he was in net for Franklin Pierce's only game last week, a Tuesday night win at home against Daniel Webster. He stopped all 32 shots on his goal on the night to post his second shutout of the season.
Just great to hear. And this week was just nothing short of outstanding performances by the Franklin Pierce Ravens. And a very special congratulations to each team on their thrilling victories. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, me and Nairo are getting right into it on our hot topics in professional sports. Stick around. You don't want to miss this.
Yo, you want another drink?
Nah, you know what? I think I'm all set. The last one was pretty strong. I already had 3.
Alright, fine. Well, I'm gonna keep drinking, so.
You know what? I might head out, so I'll catch you later, alright?
Alright, no problem. See you later.
Yeah, I was just about to head down to the court. Yeah, okay, I'll see you there. Alright, bye.
Welcome back to the Raven Rundown, and thanks for tuning in. I'm feeling generous today, so I'm going to let Nairo begin the conversation about a little segment that we call The Rave. For the viewers who don't know what The Rave is, it's a weekly topic of conversation where we cover a topic on professional sports, and we'll focus on and discuss that topic, and we'll start with Nairo. So why don't you get started on The Rave for this week?
Well, Cam, as you know, I'm a huge baseball fan. my team, ride or die New York Yankees. We'll be discussing spring training. Today was the first day, pitchers and catchers report, and I'm pretty excited. We got a lot of big things, a lot of key acquisitions coming to New York. As you know, Aroldis Chapman, the flamethrower from Cincinnati. He's a huge addition to our bullpen, to an already dominant bullpen with Dellin Betances, 98-mile-an-hour flamethrower, as well with a nasty slider. And as well as that, we have Sterling Castro covering second base, which is a huge problem throughout the season last year. We had a couple AAA players coming up and covering the position. Didn't work out too well. And Sterling Castro is a huge addition. He's a 281 average bat, 3-time All-Star, great glove. I think it's huge. Big things coming to New York, I believe so.
So you get a flamethrower like Chapman, and you get a stud like Castro. Does this make the Yankees a potential playoff
Oh,
team?
absolutely no doubt. I mean, Teixeira's coming back off injury. Huge. He last year posted 31 home runs, over 95 RBIs, a decent batting average, but he's there to put the bat on the ball and hit home runs, and that's what he's been doing his entire career. From that 2009 trade, he's been our most consistent player, putting in numbers, doing what he was expected to do, and getting paid the money, which is great. A-Rod, who had an exceptional year, all the doubters, he shut them up. He had 30-plus home runs, 85-plus RBIs. He shocked the world, in my opinion, last year, and I hope he has another solid season. CC Sabathia, poor CC, man. I mean, he's had a rough year. He's coming out of rehab, but he's saying that's being in the best shape of his career. That's great. It's a big comeback. If he can pitch, some solid games, post 200 innings, if he can guide our rotation, I think the Yankees can be an exceptional contender.
If he can stay healthy, he can stay in shape. We've seen what he can do.
Oh, of course, no doubt. He's a proven player, no doubt.
So definitely a season to prove himself.
Oh, no doubt.
For the whole Yankees.
Of course, definitely contenders. I believe they should be in the race. They will be in the race. Very confident.
And I agree. And obviously we can't cover every MLB team, so why don't we switch gears and talk about my Red Sox, since we just talked about your Yankees. We have big players coming to Boston. We have Craig Kimbrell and David Price. Big additions to the pitching staff. How are they going to help?
Look, David Price, by far the best pitcher in the American League, former Cy Young winner. There's no doubt in my mind he'll have a great season. He'll probably be in the Cy Young race again, but can he win a playoff game? That's the question. When you go to Boston, you're expecting to win championships. You know that better than anyone. Can he win a playoff game? I know last year he couldn't even win it with the Blue Jays. Had a tough time in the playoffs. So I think for me, when a pitcher at his caliber has to prove himself in the playoffs. Greg Kimbrell, one of the best closers in the league. I think it's a huge addition. You're probably better than Papelbon, talent-wise. He could be your next Papelbon. So that's pretty exciting stuff over there in Boston.
So you have what looks to be a solid pitching staff, as long as Rick Porcello plays like the way we paid him.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're hoping to see that in Boston.
He's yet to prove his potential. He's young, relatively young. This year should be his year to prove and have an outbreaking year.
So Nayro, you have a solid pitching staff, you have a solid bullpen, and you have David Ortiz's farewell season. Is this maybe fate for the Red Sox to?
It's. For David Ortiz, it couldn't get any better. He's got probably the best. For David Ortiz, it couldn't feel any greater for winning a World Series. He's got solid pitching staff, great closer. Could never been written for him. This is perfect. This is if all the pieces can come together, then he has an excellent chance of winning a World Series and going out into the sunset of retirement.
Definitely an outstanding career.
No. Oh yeah, one of the more clutch hitters I've ever seen in my life.
No question about it.
In the postseason. He's time after time has been able to.
In that World Series
no doubt, of course.
That last World Series run.
And even at 38, he's still hitting 30-plus home runs a year.
He's still doing it.
He's still doing it. Not slowing down at all.
But we'll see what this season brings.
Should be a very exciting baseball season. Oh yeah.
It's a great one for my Red Sox.
Of course.
We'll just have to wait and see what this season brings for Major League Baseball, as we will be covering it all along the way.
Well, Cam, we can go back and forth all day and night, but this pretty much wraps up our segment of the Ray for today's show. When we return, we will do Cam's concerns, as Cam will share with us headline and professional sports that he needs to address, and who knows where the debate will go. We'll be right back, and thank you for tuning in.
That was a great workout today.
I know, I'm really happy with our progress.
I'm so glad we're living a healthier lifestyle.
I know, it's awesome. So you coming to the party later tonight?
Yeah, obviously I'll be there.
Oh, word.
So,
Can't wait.
see you later.
See ya.
Hey.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We gave you the rave for today's show as we discussed spring training, and now we will go to Cam's concern. Who knows how long Cam has been waiting to address this topic, but we'll hear his input now.
Well, I've been waiting too long, Nayro. My concern for today's show that we'll dive into is the retirement in the National Football League. I think you know my reasoning for my selection of this topic for this week's segment, and that reason is linebacker Gerard Mayo of my New England Patriots has decided to hang it up at age 29. I think this guy is leaving a lot on the table, and he's leaving a lot of head scratching in New England. And I know the linebacker position is one that sees a majority of the physical contact in the NFL, but you got to think that this decision may have been made by Mayo in spite of his own personal health and his fear of what's become a concussion crisis in the NFL.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, he's 29. He's relatively young. You're right. Being a linebacker in the NFL is one of the more toughest positions you can play. Honestly, I think it is a health concern, and he doesn't want to address it publicly. I mean, it is his personal reason being. But think about it this way. Chris Boylan of the San Francisco 49ers retired at like 25 because of concussions.
25.
Now, we don't know if this is a concussion or not, but I mean, 29 years old. He was one of your better linebackers, a two-time Pro Bowler.
Put up good numbers for what was continuing to be a possible Hall of Fame career. I mean, he'd been in the Super Bowl. We know he was injured, couldn't participate, but he still gets the ring. He's got the Pro Bowls, and I think the guy still had maybe 5 years.
I think
left.
so too. No
At
doubt. I
least
mean, 29 years old, they're pretty
But,
much a tail end of your prime. Definitely another 5 years at least.
We don't know both sides of the story. We see what the media tells us, but Gerard, who knows what's going on in his personal life? I know he has kids, a family. Maybe other priorities right now that are more important.
More important, of course. Maybe it was just a personal decision. It was just time to hang it up. I mean, you never know what's going on in NFL players' mind.
The thing is, Nayro, we've seen different instances of this. As you said, Chris Boylan, and we saw one of the star receivers in the NFL the past decade, Calvin Johnson.
Retire at 30. You're right.
Can you take that and compare it to the Mayo situation?
Of course not. I mean, I think Calvin Johnson just wanted out of Detroit. I mean, 8 years.
Nothing
the team,
to do with the physical aspect?
No, I don't think anything. I don't think it's anything to do with the physical aspect. He's 6'5". He's a wide receiver. He doesn't take as many grueling hits. I think he just wanted to get out of Detroit. I mean, think about it. One playoff season in his career. One time he went to the playoffs and he didn't even win it. He couldn't. Think about it this way. You're playing on a losing team. How would you feel? You're the best player.
It's tough.
Even then, it's not a money decision. It's just a decision whether he wanted to. He wanted to be on a contender. He couldn't do it. Can't.
But does that override a passion and a love for the game? I mean, is something missing here that we're not seeing with this Calvin Johnson situation?
He played 10 years, wide receiver. Maybe it is just a personal decision.
It's a position that does wear on your body.
It does, exactly. I mean, but he's such a physical specimen as well. I mean, you can make an argument for both ways. I just think he just got tired of losing. I would be too. Especially with Matthew Stafford, who's a great quarterback. If you put him in any other team, he'd be going to the playoffs every single year. But it's a tough situation to be put in. It's hard to be a player and in, year out, come into losing seasons, coaching changes. There's just no direction in the organization. And I think for Calvin, he just had enough. He just had enough, and he just needed to let go of the game. Maybe for a bit. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back a year or two.
It's interesting because we've heard rumors and theories that if and when the Lions decide to drop the contract, is someone going to pick him up?
Right.
So that's my last little point to you and my question is, if that contract gets dropped and a team reaches out to Calvin Johnson, will he accept? Well, I mean, we can't speak for the guy.
Of course not. I mean, but if I was in his position,
for this situation, is this it for Calvin?
For right now, this is it. Like you said, if they do drop the contract, if I was in his position, I would definitely explore my options. I mean, at 30 years old, you can take a year or two off and still be 33. And, I mean, he's a rare talent. This guy, nobody has this talent, so he can come back and work hard. He's a hard-working guy. I don't have any doubt that he can come back from retirement and do maybe not just as well, but he can make an impact. Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
That about did it for my little rundown on retirement. But since we're on the subject, I got to bring in the name Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
And the word retirement. Is this guy going to call it a career, or is he going to come back after winning a Super Bowl? Instead of going on top, is he going to try to extend the career longer?
Cam,
What
you
do you
know,
think?
he's a fierce competitor. He loves the game of football. He is an ambassador for the game. I think it will be. I think it's his last game. I don't see him coming back. There's no. You saw the football. You saw the Super Bowl. He couldn't. His arm is. There's no more arm left.
But no. The thing is, he's playing in this Gary Kubiak offense that is dedicated to running the football, short passes, and running the football. And he has a great defense
You're
behind
right.
him.
Probably
the
one of-
conservative offense and an unbelievable defense. He has a reason to return.
But how far can this conservative offense go? I mean, yeah, you have a great defense, but let's say you're like, what if you need a big? What if he needs to make the big time throw?
Well,
What if he needs to make the Peyton Manning throw? How he won't? He can't.
realistically, how much did he have to do in that Super Bowl game? And
Well,
how
not a-
much did he have to do in the entire season?
You're right. Not a lot, but
You had Brock Osweiler come in, and he had success behind that defense as well. Do you think maybe that defense really has something to do with
I mean,
the wins and the success?
if he
of the
feels healthy
quarterback
enough to
position?
come back and play 16 games at a game manager type mode and let the defense do their thing, then by all means come back. But there's no better way of leaving the NFL by winning a Super Bowl and just going off to the sunset. There's no better way. So if I was Peyton Manning, I'd hang him up. You're probably the most statistical greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. Your time has ended, Peyton. It's time to go. That's what I think.
You know, Nayro, I agree with your point. I wish Peyton Manning the best in whatever his decision is. He's been a great player
By far, no doubt.
for as long as I can remember, since I've been born.
Greatest
Guy's
quarterback
been
I've ever
playing.
seen in my life,
So,
other than Tom Brady, no doubt.
Unbelievable player to watch. Been lucky to watch him, and look forward to hearing his decision. And that about wraps it up for Cam's concerns. So you about heard it all just now. So we're gonna move forward and get off this subject while we can. So
Well, Cam, this is definitely a huge problem and growing concern in the NFL, and I'm sure this won't be the last time we discuss this topic.
Nayro, I couldn't agree more. And who knows how long we could go back and forth about this issue. But unfortunately, Nayro, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Raven Rundown. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to you joining us next week and for the rest of this semester. That about wraps things up, folks. For our directors and the awesome television studio crew making this show possible, I'm Cam Gonzalez,
And I'm Naira Mojica.
and this is the
Raven
Raven
Rundown.
Rundown. Have a good night, everyone.